Yes, and Mr. Artist, thank you so much. Gumbo is something very, very important to people. Absolutely. Low country, South Carolina, Charleston County, yes. Well, you got it right. Now, these people from Louisiana will say different. But they don't know what real gumbo is. It's really the low country. Let me just say something about well, it used to be the 6th district, right, Gregory? When I'm still in the 6th district. In South Carolina, no matter what they do with the lines, they're going to let you keep your number. Up here, when Gregory first got elected, he was representing the 6th district here in New York. And of course, when they changed the lines at one point, I think he got another number. But when he first came, I don't remember how I found this out. He professors in New York, but his dad was from South Carolina. So all of these South Carolinians here, let me thank you so much. Now, you and I have done some virtual stuff together, and I don't know why you didn't warn me that you were from South Carolina, but I did not know until tonight that your roots were in my congressional district. Williamsburg County is one of, I'm going to say one of in case somebody's here from another county. If you're just in Williamsburg, I would say it's my best county in South Carolina. But thank you. But in fact, my policy director is from Hemingway. My chief is around here somewhere. He's from Columbia, the big city. The little town of Hemingway is where my policy director is from, and thank you all so much. In King Street, and I talked to somebody earlier, Lake City in my district, thank you all so much. Let me just say a couple things to you before the weather gets too bad. In South Carolina, a lot of people ask the question about the impact of that endorsement that people have been talking about. One of the things that I think people miss, especially in our party, I remember sitting down one time with Jesse Jackson, who is from Greenville, South Carolina, where I will be tomorrow morning. And I sat down with Jesse and I said to him, I said, Jesse, you got to remember, you may be in Chicago now, but your roots run deep in South Carolina soil. In fact, when I first ran for office, I ran for Secretary of State in South Carolina. I had a big meeting in Georgetown, South Carolina. And Georgetown is about as far away from Greenville as you can get. And when I walked in there that night to meet with this group, I looked, and Jesse Jackson's mother was walking through the door of that church. And I asked her, what are you doing here? She said to me, I'm here to help you get elected. And those kinds of roots are all over. I run into it in Detroit. I run into it in Chicago. I run into it no matter where you go. I don't know if y'all have ever read this book, The Warmth of Other Suns. It is just a great book, and it gives you a great understanding of what the network is all about. So when I stood up for Joe Biden, I wasn't just talking to South Carolinians. I was talking to former South Carolinians. I was talking to people whose roots are deep in South Carolina soil. And it's one of the things that people seem to lose track of. The great migration that took place in this country back in the 1930s, when all of those African Americans from Texas went up to Los Angeles, and all those African Americans from Mississippi went up to Chicago, and those from Florida went to Detroit, and those from South Carolina went to New York. And when I went to Hakeem Jeffries Church, I think it's Cornerstone Baptist Church.
Mm-hmm.
When I walked in that church, I knew half of the people. I'm not making this up. In fact, one of the first people that came up to me after church was Robert Small's great-grandson, who was sitting in the pews. Robert Smalls was the 6th African-American to serve in Congress from South Carolina. He was the one that stole the ship, the Planter. He was the one that was authorized by President Abraham Lincoln to go back to South Carolina and recruit 40,000 former slaves and bring them into the Union Army. And the history will record, were it not for those 40,000 that turned into 250,000, the war would not have been won. That's the fact. And so these roots are there. And so when I come to this home, now I know he was born in North Carolina.
Chad Boone.
But North Carolina and South Carolina was just Carolina.